This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf that is available in print in 13 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, with my co-host and partner at The Leaf, Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's AJOG.
Aloha, hola, OGs.
And Mary J. White.
The smoking female.
For dreamers who entertain a career in the cannabis industry, you should know that the key to making it comes with not only showing up and working a job, but understanding that a career in this unpredictable Wild West depends on heart and soul, but maybe more important than that is responsibility. This is from budtender to CEO.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Living la vida loca.
Hey.
Our first segment, making it in cannabis. And our second segment, is it lonely at the top? Meaning CEO. Fun being a bud tender can be pretty damn lonely when you're the guy signing the paychecks and that revenue's not coming in. We'll talk about that. But before we get educated, we've got to get medicated. So let's get stoned.
Let's go.
All right. Woo. Hey, Mary.
Huh?
What you doing, girl?
I'm just hanging with you.
Wherever your day has led you, now it's time to fire up, chew up, or drink up, and get in the mood as we introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hi, I'm Greg, and Ricker used to try his weed out on me. But now it's someone else's turn to be the guinea pig.
The guinea pig liked it. It was Greg the Guinea Pig. His name was Greg, Mary.
He sounds happy.
Greg, yeah. So Ryan Meeker is a former bud tender and now the founder and CEO of his own company called PETROL Extracts here in Washington State. Ryan, welcome to the Leaf Life Podcast, my guy.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
All right, brother. Now we're going to tune you up. The guy says before the show, I'm perpetually stoned.
Oh, nice.
Morning smoker. You're one of those guys that rolls over and when he wakes up and smokes a bowl immediately, right?
Take a dab.
Really? He goes big.
We'll do a couple dabs before we get to
Well,
work.
let's spin AJ's wheel to see what's in AJ's stash.
What's in AJ's stash?
All right.
All right, you guys. We got some permanent marker.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family. We're going to check this bad boy out. Ooh,
All
I'm
right.
excited. I think permanent marker is an indica.
Well, the company is LA Family Farms.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
LA Family Farms. I read
There
it
you
like
go.
a Mexican. La Family. Hello. La Familia.
No,
Ooh, it
their
smells
signature,
amazing.
their symbol is like a crossword puzzle almost with 4 letters. L to the left, A to the right, F to the left, F to the right on the bottom, right? LAFF,
Family.
LA Family Farms.
Yeah, La Family
Yeah,
Farms.
so I've been to their facility. I brought that from California by carrier pigeon.
Wow.
And it is legitimately the cleanest cannabis facility that I've ever been to.
Oh, wow.
Mary,
That says a lot.
you're a cannabis chef. Go to maryjwhite.com.
Mm-hmm.
You could cook off of that floor and serve it and nobody would know the difference.
How fun.
Yeah. and they had a dog. It was like a Japanese Chihuahua or something, super small. What kind of dog is that, Mary?
That would be a Japanese Chihuahua.
Fair. No, it's not. That's a Chihuahua is a Mexican word, right? Like
Chihuahua.
marijuana. But yeah, LA Family Farms, they're well known in Southern California for being absolute fuego. Ryan, what do you think about hitting out of that My Bud vase? Beautiful bong, by the way.
It is a beautiful bong. She was looking for a more masculine one, but I think that's pretty masculine.
It is. It's you, baby.
And it's absolutely
man.
beautiful. That bong and the weed is
Put
nice.
me on blast
Nice
right
and
there.
smooth.
Permanent marker, do you feel like somebody just wrote stone on your forehead
Right
with a
over
Sharpie?
the front, yeah.
Right on,
And
bro.
I can smell it too.
So, hey, man, let's get into your story, brother. Making it in the cannabis industry, it's easy to get in the cannabis industry. Anybody can be a bud tender.
Yeah.
You want to work in this biz? Come on out to California or Oregon or Washington or any of the emerging recreational or medical legal states, and they'll give you a job as long as you know your weed and you're willing to learn. But to rise to the top is another feat altogether because it's really difficult. The margins are razor thin in this industry. the man, Uncle Sam, is making all the profits, and the CEOs like yourself are struggling just to pay invoices. So it's tough. You can make it, but what does it take, bro? You started at the beginning.
Yeah, I really did. I started out back in the medical days when I was 17 years old. My mom had given me some money to go get my yearbook, and I did not go and get a yearbook. Instead, I went and got a half ounce.
Fuck the yearbook, bro.
Exactly. I said, I'll have everyone sign that paper out. We can all figure it out, take pictures together.
By the way, I was on the yearbook. I took the yearbook class. I was on the committee.
Were you?
Oh, yes. Guess who was in the yearbook 3 times?
That would be you.
Correct. That's right.
So from there, I just bought a bag and I just broke it down, started selling it. And from there, just kind of leveled up. I mean, it was hard to spend, go get money from $20. My mom was like, you're going to movies this much and this and that. So had to buy in bulk and then, make it last, and started breaking it down. So from there, I just started doing my thing out of college. I went to Washington State University. And then I started getting into music production. I started DJing and just doing a lot of music. And from there, I had a lot of friends at Wazoo that went out there. A lot of friends that came with me, and then a lot of people I met just from being outgoing and social, DJing all the parties. And
it is a party school.
Oh, it is. Win or lose,
Yeah.
Cougs booze. That's all we do. You know what I mean? Come on.
They're known to be a party school and a football team that Cougs it. They're called the Cougars,
We do
Washington
Coug
State.
it.
Nickname is Wazoo. And they always find a way to screw up. And you always have to ask yourself, man, did these guys get all loaded last night at a frat party or something?
They did.
It's notorious.
Yeah, and then they screwed up the Pac-12 too. So
Yeah.
no more of that.
Well,
and-
they even had, talking about football, the most highly recruited quarterback to come out of college and into the NFL and fail at the highest level of all time. His name was also Ryan, wasn't it?
From WSU.
What was his name? Yeah, from Wazoo. What was it? Ryan Leak.
Yeah, Leaf.
Leaf.
Yeah.
Leaf,
Yeah.
Leaf was such a, that's
Yeah.
right, you're right.
Poor fella.
A lot of expectations.
Well, even though they booze, the day after, someone's got to smoke. You got to get on that level. So I was the guy that was getting them. And I ain't going to mention any names, but I was supplying a lot of the athletes while we
Dave,
were
Bill,
there.
Tom, Ryan.
So there was someone that, exactly. Someone had to do that. So that was me, and I was a safe guy. And that whole rule of thumb was had to be able to smoke a blunt with you. So I didn't get around the sketchy people, but everyone had mommy, daddy money out at Wazoo. So someone had to.
How old were you when you got into the legal market?
This was right after Wazoo. I was probably 21 years old. It was right when the market shifted. I started working at Harmon.
From medical to recreational.
Right, yep, right when it switched. And I just basically...
2014?
2015? 16? It was like the 16 era.
Back in time.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Time.
And from there, I actually started off working at 2 jobs. I was working at Harmony Farms as a grower, and then I was working at Kush 21 as a bud tender.
It's a great. They took our back cover at Northwest Leaf Kush 21. Great operation. They're big ups to Michael Baraki,
Shout out, Michael.
Ariel Sanchez, and by the way, Harmony Farms also a great farm.
Yes.
They made those great vape carts with the proprietary Aero Pro. Batteries that vibrated, right? And when they first came out, it was like everybody had to have one.
I have a cool story that
They
makes
were
me,
dope.
I lead back to that actually. When I was at Harmony Farms and Kush 21, I was doing that just to supply my DJ nightlife because I was staying out till 3. So being able to be a bud tender, jobs were open at 8 in the morning, staying up till midnight, and I could get tipped doing that without having to go be a barista.
Can't do that anymore, bro.
No, I know. So then from there, I was also growing. But then on the growing side, you're in a warehouse, you're growing, and then you're also a farmer. And it was just like a lot of in the head, listening to music, watching TV shows. And I liked communicating with people. I liked dealing with people and just being in a different environment. So I left Harmony Farms and I pursued Kush 21.
So you took that energy
Yeah,
and brought that into what you wanted to turn into a profession.
exactly.
And that's
I
a
had no
word that I
idea.
left out in the beginning, is it takes a vital energy to make it because, bud tenders half the time, let's be real, they're stoned, they're happy, they're glad to be doing what they're doing, but they're selling the same products over and over again. And they, can't wait to get off work because they get a great discount on the weed. But very few of them ascend past bud tender. In fact, shop owners are always looking, or managers, for bud tenders who are ambitious.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's not a lot of them. And then as soon as they identify identify that one is ambitious, they promote them to store manager or shift manager or whatever. And if you have that ambition and you're a professional, you act like that, you can ascend in this industry. And that's what you did.
I did, yeah. But I've also seen the opposite. I've seen the ambitious ones that start to move up a little bit. They kind of like to keep them down or keep pays a little bit over in this area because of, like what you're saying, they're stoned, they're this and this and that. Some places, I'm not going to say any names, like to have that type of a bud tender because it is maybe disposable.
Jill, Tanya, Sherry.
Exactly. To where some of the stores that I've gone through and elevated to, I've been through a lot of different ones that was my passion when I was serving as a bud tender. And then from Chris 21, I wore many hats. I was doing the marketing. I was also inventory. I was also the lead bud tender. And I was also DJing the store. So I'd count in the order, go serve up if it's busy on a vendor day, and then come back in and finish counting and figure out where I was left off. So from there, I had to wear many different hats with organizing the back of all of this product and different vendors, from also then serving bud tenders and making sure that's a good time with the customers that I face and see every day.
Wow.
Well, people see the dispensaries and they think they're these professional organizations, but they're all small businesses.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know, at
Figuring
the
it
end
out.
of the day, it's not Starbucks. It's
Right.
not McDonald's where it's the same thing
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So even if you
Plug
go
and
to a chain of stores where you go to a different location, it's not necessarily the same experience. It can be a very different experience. And working in that, it's a hodgepodge. You might have a good owner or a bad owner. You might have a good culture or a bad culture.
Yeah.
And you've got to wear a lot of hats in those kind of dysfunctional environments. So it also takes a survivor mentality.
Absolutely.
You know, if you need like superstructure, if you need concrete ways to do things, go work for a real corporation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You won't like the weed industry where everything is on a certain level made up as we go.
Consistency is very difficult to find in this
100%.
industry. These companies don't have corporate SOPs, which are standard operating procedures written out. They're kind of winging it as they go.
Yeah.
And if you come from the corporate world, say, you know, my first job legitimately was at Jack in the Box. That's a West Coast burger chain.
I was McDonald's, so yeah.
There you go, my guy. You know, when you're 16, nobody's going to hire your ass other than to flip burgers. And you're used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. You know, a lot of these cannabis companies are struggling, even though it appears on the outside that they're succeeding. Everybody out there listening, you think, oh, if you're in the cannabis industry, you must be killing it and cashing checks.
Yeah.
And the reality is quite the opposite.
Chasing checks.
Yeah, straight
Exactly.
up. But that's the nature of being a trailblazer. I mean, you know, it's the nature of being a trailblazer. So
You got to cut down the weeds. You got to cross the raging rivers. And you got to fight off the whoever it is on the other
and we're
side
right
of that
here,
river.
Wild Wild West. We're still doing that. We're still trailblazing, you know? So yeah, I think good on you for sticking with it and, you know, being determined and like you're saying, being willing to step into different positions and wear different hats. I think like a key to success is, you know, not being expendable.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that makes you, you know, stand out of the bunch where your employer knows letting you go is not a good move, you know?
Well, and now you're the employer.
Yeah,
I am.
And we'll talk about that in the second segment. But first, brother, it's time for you to play Who Said What?
Now, just to clarify.
What? Who said that?
Let's find out.
What? Who said that?
Who said what? That's a who said.
All right, Ryan Meeker, I'm going to give you a quote, and you have to tell me which celebrity said it. The three celebrities are Sarah Palin, Jeb Bush, and George W. Bush. This one's political.
This is great.
Okay. This is Wes's favorite.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Number one. Nuclear weaponry, of course, would be the be-all, end-all of just too many people on too many parts of our planet. Sarah Palin, Jeb Bush, or George W. Bush, bro?
I'm going to go see George W. Bush.
That's incorrect. That's Sarah Palin.
Sarah P.
Nuclear weaponry, of course, would be the be-all, end-all to just too many people on too many parts of our planet. Golly, why can't I read that, Wes?
Because it don't make no sense.
Thank you, Mary, for clarifying. All right, number two. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again.
That one's George W.
That's correct.
J. Cole. I knew
Can't
that.
get fooled again.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there you go, Mary. He was referring to the Who, the band.
yes,
Won't get
okay.
fooled again, I think.
Right.
And number three, please clap. Sarah Palin, Jeb Bush, or George W. Bush?
Jeb Bush.
That's Jeb. That's right. The man knows his politics. Yeah. He was encouraging the crowd to respond favorably to something he said. Even though he was the most reasonable and qualified Republican on the ticket, he, of course, lost the election that year. And largely due to his brother's foibles that preceded him, wouldn't you say?
I can imagine.
Yeah, we've all seen the movie, right? If you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every Leaf magazine at your convenience, search leafmagazines.com. Coming up in our second segment, we'll ask the question, is it lonely at the top when you've made it to CEO? We'll get another spin of AJ's Wheel, and we'll kick it all off with another episode of Where in the World with Mary J. White. Leaf Life continues in just a sec.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.
Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.